to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
No. No, no, no. No, 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 no. No! Gosh darn it. Oh, my goodness.
Way to keep it clean for the kiddos.
I know. I was remembering our clean rating right when I said that. What? I'm just beside myself on what has transpired over the weekend. You know, Arian.
You're my boy.
Twice, man. 2 times. You know, this is it was tough, man. It was tough to see Arian go down. I don't know if we're going to see him play football again.
No, I don't think so.
So it's a torn Achilles for Arian Foster.
Ironic, because he's probably the Achilles heel of many teams at the moment.
Well,
You know, I am just 3 games. You burned bright, my friend. You burned bright. I got an email. I got a lot of emails, a lot of tweets, and you know, they were all always in capital letters, and they said things like, "I was bulldozing my league, and then you reaped Arian Foster." You know, I reaped myself. Okay, I have a team. I what did I tell you guys? I told the Foot Clan, the listeners, about my team in our league of record that had all the points and good team play, but I was 1-4. Well, I'm going to win again, thanks to Arian. His final gift to me is a 29-point game in that league, and I'm going to win. I'll be 3-4. But I was looking so good because Arian was there.
You know, as a 4-2, 5-2 team, I'm very happy that Arian has gone down. Not to you, Mr. Foster. The Reaper.
You're
was
happy just because of me.
Yeah, well,
that's
because
just,
I like to win. The Reaper was in full effect this weekend. I mean, Nick Mangold, who came on the show, he went down a little bit. You had Fred Jackson in a car wreck. You know.
Oh,
this last
come
week.
on!
I'm just saying.
Oh, come on! Hey, I haven't said anything about our show. This is the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. I'm Andy Holloway, and I'm an Arian Foster owner.
It's like a meeting.
It's like a confession.
The FA.
This is our show for Monday, October 26th. We've got a show for you. Normally I say a good show, but I'm going to just dedicate and commit the show to Arian Foster's memory. You can find us on Twitter at the FF Ballers. You can find us on the web, thefantasyfootballers.com. You can check out our fantasy community on jointhefoot.com. We've got our fantasy rewind today. We're going through the Studmuffins. We're going through the pooped in their big boy pants, which, by the way, Arian didn't do.
He was in both
had the
categories.
He had the decency to tear his Achilles at the very, very, very end of a game. We're going to preview the Monday night game. We got a mailbag section. It's good stuff. So also want to remind everybody those Back to the Future shirts that we got going on. They got a couple days left. You can get them on thefantasyfootballers.com. And sometime this week, we're getting spray tans in association with our bet with the listeners, basically.
Yeah, it's coming.
Did you guys have any, real quick weekend impressions before I move on?
No, let's move it on.
Okay. Well, in lieu of a quick question today, I'm gonna do something different. I've got some Monday morning confessions. All right. So I'm gonna point at you, Mike, and you're gonna give me a little lead into each of these. And then I'm going to just go on a mini rant about these 4 things.
Confessions.
All right. I'm going to start with the Toby Gerhart, Gus Bradley situation. I have publicly said I am a Gus Bradley supporter. All you Jacksonville fans out there, I've supported the team. I'm done. It's over. You gave the ball to Toby Gerhart 4 times on the 1-yard line and watched him get stuffed over and over and over again. Yes, I know you're not the offensive coordinator calling the plays. You're the head coach. Say something into your microphone. Say, get him off the field. TJ Yeldon owners are mad at you, and I'm not even one of them, but they got to be mad at you. I'm mad at just, the integrity of the NFL being poo-pooed on by Toby Gerhart.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Ridiculous that you have Yeldon, and he's playing well.
Not
Very
well. He was on fire.
Yeah.
He was running through everything.
And if they won the game, if they hadn't won the game, oh my goodness.
Confessions.
All right, I'm going to move on to Rashard Matthews. I've got to confess, you're legit. You're a good player. I thought Devontae Parker would move past you. I thought it would be easy, but now you've put up double digits in 5 of 6 games. You made a monster play, taking that pass all the way to the house through honestly, that's the worst defense I have ever seen played in that game in the first half by Houston.
Well,
I feel like the safety ran angles that aren't even part of geometry to miss tackles. I mean, it was disgusting.
It was some of the worst defense I've ever seen until Jarvis Landry did the exact same thing about 3 plays later.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right.
Confessions.
You guys will like this one. Dante Moncrief, you are a legit fantasy option.
Yes!
Double digits in
Welcome to the team.
Double digits in 6 of 7 games. There's nothing I can say other than the fact he's putting up touchdowns, and he's obviously going to stay productive with Andrew Luck. So, there you go.
Confessions.
All right, last one. Last confession. Todd Gurley is the best running back in the National Football League.
My. We're already there?
We are. And, this is less of a this is not me coming back off of something I said. I thought he would take the lead role and literally run with it, but not like this, man. He broke so many tackles in that game, 2 touchdowns, 32.2 points. I believe he broke some kind of record on points. I mean, it was like 95 of the yards were after contact. It was unbelievable.
Didn't he have negative yards after the first quarter? Something like that. And then he finished with 160-something yards.
128. Otherwise, he would have broke the record for 3 straight 140-plus games.
Ridiculous.
He's very, very good.
He's also the first rookie to have his first 3 games over 100 starting. First 3 starts over 125 yards on the ground.
I sent a text to the Gurley owner in my league, just basically saying, "Is there any any possible way under the sun that you would ever trade him to me?" And he said no, and that he's his franchise player forever. So, I guess, until he gets hurt or something.
It's better for the fantasy football community that he's not on your team.
Yeah. So that's it for my fantasy confessions of the weekend. Let's go ahead and get into the rewind.
Weekly Rewind.
All right, I got to get to the injury news. You guys give me your reactions to some of these injuries. Obviously, Arian Foster down with the Achilles.
My reaction to that is, if you're confessing Gus Bradley, how dare you put Toby Gerhart in for 4 plays in a row? O'Brien, you're down by a cajillion points, and you got one of the most injury-prone guys. What in the world was he even doing in that game? Well, that's all I'm saying.
Here's my argument to that. They're always down by a billion.
I almost made
points.
the same joke just now. Yeah.
So they're always in garbage time. So you have to play Foster.
He was playing well too. So okay, so fantasy implications of the injury.
You drop him.
Well, yeah, I know you drop Arian Foster unless you're in a dynasty, in which case you probably still drop him.
He's a quick healer.
But I would put him on your. You can keep him on a dynasty.
All right, who are we picking up?
Well, that's the question. I think it's got to be Alfred Blue, just for the between the tackle stuff. Chris Polk can't do it between the tackles. I've seen that too often. No,
Grimy?
Grimes, no. Grimy, yeah. It's going to be an ensemble of mediocrity.
The problem is that when you look at the snaps and touches and things of the first couple weeks without Arian Foster, it's just a mess of one guy had it here, one guy had it there.
Alfred Blue had one good game.
They all stunk. Arian Foster actually on the ground was not performing very well. I believe
he wasn't.
This was his first week where he was over 3 yards a carry.
You're correct. That's correct.
So
and was still putting up 30 points.
There's honestly nobody that I'm going to pick up from the Texans' backfield.
I would spend my fab on Alfred Blue because in the right matchup, he's had good games.
Yeah, I agree. To get a starting running back. He's a spot
carries.
Flex play or a spot running back play on a good matchup. So.
Sure, but this is not Sharkandrick West situation.
Well, no, it's not. I mean, it's going to be game flow dependent. Chris Polk will be in there when they're down.
I'm referring to like waiver priority and fab budget. I'm not blowing my fab budget.
Some people will.
Yeah, but I'm advising.
Sure.
I would not do that.
Philip Dorsett fractured ankle 4 to 6 weeks. This only further solidifies the Moncrief involvement. What about the Andre Johnson target numbers? Are they going to change?
They might go up. I don't know. I still don't have. I don't feel he will be a weekly reliable.
Yeah, it didn't seem
guy.
like Dorsett was really cutting in much anyway. So I don't expect anything to change.
What's the latest on Vincent Jackson's injury? Because I had heard knee injury. He missed some snaps.
No, he left the game.
Right. Yeah, he left in the third.
I haven't heard an update of how he's doing. If they've had to MRI it, or what anything that's going on, we'll have to wait till tomorrow or even maybe Wednesday.
Yeah, I was gonna say we'll have to watch and see. But this is great.
He was questionable to return. That was the team designation at the end of the game. So
was Peters last night.
Well, and the report came out with Peters that he's fine.
I'm saying,
Yeah.
you watched him go down.
No, I know.
And you're
I
like,
know.
oh, he's questionable. No,
he's not. Yeah,
he's not
yeah.
coming back.
Fair point. Vincent Jackson knee injury. Antonio Gates was out.
Yeah.
Although I've heard it's a very low grade strain.
It was an MCL.
Yeah, low grade strain that he could have, it was a will he go, won't he go. They sat him out.
The Chargers, they really got people yesterday with in the morning. Everybody, I'm including all the big wig reporters, like the big network guys, were saying Melvin Gordon is out.
Yeah,
he is out. So, and we said, yeah, he's going to be out. Get him out of your lineup. And Antonio Gates was, he's at game time. We get to game time. Antonio Gates is out. Melvin Gordon was in.
Yeah, but I actually like that they did this. It avoids the Chris Ivory thing that happened earlier in the year where he was active, but then he doesn't play at all. Melvin Gordon actually wasn't playing in the game. They put him active and said he wasn't going to play, and he pretty much wasn't. It was almost like when the game got completely out of hand,
right,
that then they're like, well, let's go see what Melvin Gordon can do. Or it was almost like it was so weird, like garbage time coming in, but it showed that how much of it was the ankle.
It was exactly what I was going to say. It's not the ankle if you put a guy in late in garbage time.
Right.
It's you're being cast down for your fumbles.
Yeah, that's a scarier situation there. Hopefully you guys, we say at the beginning of the show our Twitter handles, but it is, if you want our advice up to the minute, Twitter's pretty important because we'll post things there, before the game. We told people get Gates out.
Yeah,
we recommended Jordan Reed and Ladarius Green, and if you took them out and went with one of those two options, you were pretty happy this week.
What's the latest on Matthew Stafford's left hand?
He's X-rays on it, so it's his non-throwing hand. For all accounts are he's going to be okay, and he'll be good to go next week.
Josh McCown's shoulder injury looked like he was hurting in post-game interviews.
Man, it was a rough game for Josh McCown. He was getting beat up not only by the players on the field, he was getting beat up by the environment of the stadium. I don't know if you guys saw Josh McCown run into the wall, but it was one of those things where, because he's on the turf, so that he's trying to slow down as he runs off and out of bounds, hits the patch that is no turf and just completely slides right into the wall. And he looked like he got hurt on that unfortunate incident, but it could be Manziel.
Told you guys that Rams defense was going to be a home run this week.
Yes, they were
just a home run. Nick Mangold. Center,
we mostly
on the
mentioned
list
him because he's on the show.
Good
friend of the show.
And then Joseph Randle came out early and gave way to a very good Darren McFadden game. Randle hurt his kind of like, what was it, like an oblique kind of back injury? Yeah. And then Deion Lewis and Jeremy Maclin both missed. They were both kind of surprise inactives. Maclin was cleared. They held him out as a precaution, which I thought was ridiculous as a 1-14. But then they won, so okay, I'm wrong on that. Deion Lewis. He was out. This caused problems for fantasy owners. And I don't mean Lewis fantasy owners. This caused problems for LeGarrette Blount fantasy owners because you're on the cusp. Do I start Blount? Do I not start Blount over other flex options? When you hear Deion Lewis is going to be out, I would absolutely, if I was a Blount owner, I would have been tempted to throw him right into the lineup regardless of the matchup because of the bulk of carries, goal line opportunities. You're on the field. He had a passing touchdown the week before. So and Blount was like 3 for -3.
Yeah, it was terrible. It's almost a blessing that it was against the Jets because as an owner, if you've got someone else on your bench, it helps you make that decision like, I know he's going to be in, but it's against the Jets. Let me put, someone else in if you've got Martavis Bryant on your bench or something like that. I think it was good that it was against the Jets to get him out. We recommended not starting Blount. In fact, last week, the two guys that, Andy, you asked us, who are we worried about in that Patriots game? You said Deion Lewis because of the injury, and I said LeGarrette Blount because of the matchup. So,
and speaking to the Joseph Randle injury, we saw the reins. The reins came off, and he was unleashed. So, we saw Kristen Michaels' workload increase 700%.
Wow.
So Mike, do you
still hanging on?
So here's the deal.
Please don't.
No. He's just a complete lottery stash at the moment, and I will say I have no idea what's going on with Joseph Randle's injury. No, just listen.
Arian Foster or Christian Michael rest of the season.
If Randle is going to miss time and the Cowboys have to rely on Darren McFadden, then I won't drop him.
The amount of conditionals in Christine Michael's career to become a good player is mounting. It is mounting.
I'm not just going to throw him away because
I would
I'm angry.
absolutely throw him away. If you have Christine Michael, I'd rather have Alfred Blue all day long.
If I can
yes, I agree. I would.
Okay.
But saying I'm not going to just grab some guy off waivers who I think is a bum. But if there's someone who's going to get playtime, I would grab him.
If I can be a tiebreaker here, drop Christian Michael. He's taking up a bench spot that he shouldn't be taking up. And the nice thing is that when you
trade him to Mike,
when you drop Christian Michael, the cool thing is other people that you have to play against might be tempted to pick him up and waste a spot on their bench. So that's really nice. You know who he reminds me of both as a person and a runner? Chris Polk. And that's about as high as I'll go. He looks like Chris Polk. He acts like Chris Polk off the field.
What's wrong with Chris Polk?
Nothing. I'm just saying here's the
Chris
difference.
Polk's a nice guy.
No, I'm not saying anything bad about.
What's his shrimp and rice?
Yes.
Like that.
What,
Chicken and shrimp.
Chicken and shrimp.
Chicken and shrimp.
Yeah, I'm just saying he seems. Here's why I say that. It's not a knock on either guy, but it's a juxtaposition against Darren McFadden, the vet who comes in and plays with the game plan that the Cowboys had. He's not relying on any kind of like, I'm just going to run hard and run fast and try to run through guys. He was trying to, go with the game flow, and it worked. And so if you're the Cowboys, if it wasn't for that, that false start, the Cowboys were just going to run the ball 70 times on that last drive and get down there. But the false start made it to where they were in a down and distance where they couldn't run, and Castle just couldn't.
So before we move on to the fantasy Studmuffins of the week, we would like to thank our sponsor, SeatGeek. And the three of us have used SeatGeek, and we will be attending the Arizona Cardinals Monday Night Football game, and we are super stoked because buying the tickets was super easy using the SeatGeek app. Everything is laid out for you. The ease of use, I'm telling you, just download it, check it out, zooming in and out, get to any seats you want, and you got to use our promo code FOOTBALLERS. So listen, SeatGeek, they pull in ticket options from hundreds of online ticket sellers. It's a one-stop shop. You don't need to go anywhere else. SeatGeek is an aggregator. They collect all the deals, and they let you know how good of a deal is it with their deal score feature, with 1 to 100 value score and there's a color-coded interactive map. It's easy to identify the best ticket values and where you want to sit. And the mobile app makes buying the tickets seamless. No more squiggly doodles.
No, it's good stuff.
No more of that junk.
We're going to go see the game tonight. SeatGeek's great.
Tap. Tickets are delivered. You print them out. You're good to go to the game. This is what we need the Foot Clan to do. You download the free SeatGeek app today. You use our promo code FOOTBALLERS. And SeatGeek will give you $20 off after your first purchase. $20, just $3 for buying tickets. And every seat and ticket is guaranteed 100% by SeatGeek. Use our promo code FOOTBALLERS.
And we'd also like to thank our sponsor, FanDuel. FanDuel is awesome. Most of you out there know it. You use it. You play it. If you don't, you need to. I get every single week messages from people saying, I am so happy that you guys turned me on to FanDuel. It's a blast to play. I won a ton of money. If you're listening to this show and you played Robert Woods or Stefan Diggs or those guys that we're recommending, you won a lot of money. And here's why you need to get on FanDuel. They are the leader, the number one, the biggest daily fantasy site out there. They pay out over $75 million a week, and it's fantasy football. It's a fun salary cap format. You get to pick any players you want. You're not limited based on a snake draft or anything like that.
Can I have Arian Foster?
You can have. I hope they take him out, but maybe you
He's
can have
there.
him. They'll let you do what you want to do, and what you want to do is you want to win money on FanDuel. In addition, if you haven't started playing, maybe your fantasy team isn't doing good, when you go to FanDuel and click the microphone in the upper right-hand corner and use our promo code, which is BALLERS, remember that because it rhymes with dollars, FanDuel will give you up to $200 for free when you sign up, matching your deposit up to $200. So here's what you do. For new users, you go to FanDuel.com, click that microphone, enter promo code BALLERS. FanDuel, where every day is a new season. That's FanDuel.com. Sign up today. It is a blast.
All right, let's go ahead and take some time. We're going to get into this week's best performers in the fantasy world.
this week's Fantasy Stud Muffins.
All right, guys, let's start at the quarterback position where all quarterbacks perform well.
Basically.
I mean, it pretty much is like that on a week-to-week basis. It's exactly why we say quarterback is a streamable position. Obviously, you have to kind of pick correctly, but it's becoming to the point where, look at this list. Kirk Cousins is at the top of it.
Yeah,
okay?
you had asked. Hey,
I
is
had
Kirk-
asked to start him.
Yeah, you're like, is he a streamable option this week? I'm like, no.
Brian Hoyer's a better option.
Well, Brian Hoyer, despite being terrible, didn't do bad at all either.
No.
He was the number 7 quarterback.
Anybody watch the London game?
I
did.
E.J. Manuel, how did he look in that game?
Oh, my goodness. E.J. Manuel, he was my stream of the week. We changed it from Landry Jones if you had listened through the week. And E.J. Manuel was maybe the worst quarterback I have ever seen in that first quarter. I think he gave the ball away 3 times.
Didn't
or was
matter.
it the second quarter? Didn't matter.
Didn't matter.
He finished right now as the number 12 quarterback, a quarterback 1. I expect Carson Palmer to knock him off of there tonight. But, yeah, I mean, you want to know who those guys who finished ahead of? Drew Brees, Russell Wilson, Matt Ryan. Russell Wilson. So Eli Manning, I mean, you know.
Yeah, the list goes on. And so Kirk Cousins had a great game. He had a rushing touchdown and 3 passing touchdowns. Is that correct?
You like that?
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, go watch that.
You like that?
Go watch that Vine of Kirk Cousins after the comeback win. Impressive win. Biggest comeback in Washington history, 31-30 at the buzzer. Tom Brady, obviously, in our league format, he's been over 30 points every single game he's played. Just consistency has been through the roof. 355 and 2 and a rushing touchdown.
Doing it in a game like this, completely 100% matchup proof. You cannot sit him.
Ryan Tannehill.
This is the guy I'm excited to talk about.
You mean my start of the week?
I
told the world to start him, and he decided. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna just take care of all my points in the first 30 seconds of the game. 4 touchdowns, 282 yards, 1 incompletion.
His receivers did help a little bit.
Oh, I agree.
I think he threw for about 20 yards in the air.
It's debatable whether his receivers helped him or Houston helped him.
But so let's take a look at the Dolphins. They fired their coach, Joe Philbin. They brought in Guns Mahoney to take over. Man, that guy is just he is a monster.
You know they're serving Campbell's soup everywhere now in Miami.
Chunky?
Well, yeah, Chunky would be better. Yeah.
So they come back out of the bye, 2 weeks, weaker opponents, but they have destroyed them.
Yeah.
Are we buying back into Ryan Tannehill and crew of the Dolphins?
I bought back in a week ago. I loved Miami at home. I loved Tannehill. You had Lamar Miller as your start of the week, and I liked the Miami defense in that game.
If only Lamar Miller could play 4 quarters with this new offense. They were destroying him so bad last week that he sat.
You're not
in the
complaining about.
No, I'm happy because I'm
okay.
You know, I'm Mr. Lamar Miller coming into the season.
We'll get to him.
Yeah, all right.
But Phillip Rivers had a good game.
So are you buying into Tannehill moving forward?
I'm buying into Tannehill in the right matchup.
Okay,
agreed.
Yeah, I'm not going beyond that right now. Andrew Luck, I was playing against him in a league. It was looking great. He was at negative points. There's something wrong with the Colts, and yet he ended with 333 and 3.
Thanks to defenders falling down.
Yeah, and then Derek Carr had that was a fun game to watch. I love,
wow.
The Raiders. It used to be like you'd want to start a defense against them. I don't want to start a defense against the Raiders anymore. Amari Cooper is a machine. Michael Crabtree is great for a number 2 type of guy. You're lining up. Cooper destroyed Verdette, right?
Yes.
Yes. I mean,
and who coming into this week had been one of the top corners, and I don't know if you guys.
Yeah, he did.
Absolutely. He went up and had a great long catch, but a lot of the yards. It was so brilliant. I mean, they came off of a bye week, and their screen game was so well developed with blockers going downfield.
Well, that was
I mean, it was
that one big play was huge.
No, there were 3. There were 3 super long screens that were fantastic through that game. I'm telling you, I didn't think much of Bill Musgrave as an offensive coordinator or Del Rio as a head coach, but coming off of a bye, they exploited exactly what needed to be exploited. I was very impressed.
I'll say this though. You add 3 minutes to the clock, they lose the game.
I was going to say, did you guys see the ceremony after the game?
No.
Play the audio. Play the audio.
I just did.
No, ladies and gentlemen, weighing in at 228 pounds, standing 6'5" tall, Phillip Rivers is your new ultimate garbage fantasy points quarterback.
Oh, what a performance from Phil and Mr. Woodhead.
What a half.
Yeah, Phillip Rivers had a brutal game, and yet 336 and 3. So, basically, here's the situation in fantasy. We'll move on to wide receivers, and that was very funny because it's true. Phillip Rivers, garbage time master of this game, which
back-to-back
weeks.
weeks.
Andrew Luck was competing with him in the final bout, by the way. But the thing about it is this. If you have a fantasy quarterback and he plays well, he gets you fantasy points. If you have a fantasy quarterback whose team gets horribly down and he's not pulled, he gets you fantasy points. The way that you don't get fantasy points is when you get that Matt Ryan middling kind of 10-7 game where the game's close. And, my point is this. Your odds of opportunity for your quarterback are that he will score almost in every game because Brian Hoyer is one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. Josh McCown's not a great quarterback. These are guys that week after week put up numbers, not necessarily every single week, but very often. Even Kaepernick, those guys. So, all right, wide receiver stud muffins. T.Y. Hilton, 4 for 150 and 2.
All he needs, T.Y. Hilton, all he needs is the defensive back who is covering him in single-man coverage to fall down.
Yeah, I don't know how you're single-manning T.Y. Hilton in a game like that, but whatever. Nate Washington had 9 for 127, 2 touchdowns.
Nasty.
I want to ask about this because Cecil Shorts was back. Washington came back this week. Hopkins didn't have his through-the-roof game. What do we expect going forward from the Nate Washington, Cecil Shorts, Houston wide receiver core?
Going forward, I expect what we've seen before this game. There was great coverage on Hopkins, and then all the targets started going Nate Washington's way. I don't think that that's going to continue, especially as Cecil Shorts gets healthy.
All right, Jarvis Landry had a big game. Mike Evans had a big game. Amari Cooper had the big game we talked about earlier.
Mike Evans.
Yeah, that's the guy that excites me going forward, especially if anything is serious with Vincent Jackson. Mike Evans, Andy's giving me a look because I have been down on him, and yet I traded for him this week, started him, and it was glorious. So thank you, Mike Evans. I hope that you have a great future with Jameis Winston.
We don't have the time to get into the Mike Evans conversation right now.
Sure.
Stephon Diggs, baby. 6 for 108 and a touchdown. All you need is your eyeballs.
Touchdown. Not just a touchdown.
That was an amazing.
A legitimate touchdown.
Full extension over the shoulder, diving into the end zone. He double moved his guy. There was no one within 50. I've heard on I don't forget what station. There's a difference between open and uncovered. He had gotten to the point on that route where he was uncovered. And Stephon Diggs, man, just watch him play.
I have not seen a guy this year make more, like the amount of miraculous catches, and that's why you want him in Minnesota because Teddy Bridgewater isn't playing good. You don't have to make.
He played good this week.
Well, I'm saying you don't have to make miraculous catches when the ball's put on you. But Stephon Diggs has made so many catches that if he was targeting someone else there, if he was targeting Charles Johnson or Mike Wallace, they would not have caught.
I have to agree with you because Wallace had like 9 targets last week and he caught 3 passes. So
yeah,
Stephon Diggs is getting separation. He's young. He's a rookie. He's making plays, and he had his first touchdown this week. Robert Woods, we talked him up big time, 9 for 84 and a touchdown. Just plain old opportunity. It just seemed like with no Watkins, no Harvin, and what was going on there? Garbage time. What really wasn't garbage time. It was comeback. It was comeback time, and Robert Woods had a very good game. So let's talk running backs. Lamar Miller's the headliner, 14 for 175, 1 touchdown. 3 for 61 and a screen pass touchdown through the air, and then he got to rest because that game was a blowout. They figured some things out. Giving the ball to Lamar Miller is part of it.
Giving the ball to one of your best offensive players.
So Lamar Miller moving forward. Will he, from this point on in the season, do you consider him in running back 1 in fantasy football? Is that overstating it?
No.
I don't think it is. Although I believe they've got a terrible matchup this week. Does anybody know who they play?
Not off the top of my
Yeah,
head.
they play.
Is it the Patriots?
Yes, I believe so.
I believe
it is the Patriots. Yeah, it is. It is. Todd Gurley, who would you rather have over Todd Gurley rest of the season?
Still Le'Veon Bell.
Okay, that makes sense. Arian Foster had a big game, 18 for 59 and 1, 5 for 66 and 1 through the air. I'm saying his name for the last time. Darren McFadden, 29 for 152 and a touchdown. Honestly, I mean, I've watched Darren McFadden for years. he looked pretty good because he got downhill much quicker than he'd been getting downhill. And that's all there is to it. He also lost a screen pass touchdown on a was it a hold?
It was
I feel like it was not a hold.
It was
something away from the ball.
Yeah, I think. Oh, I know what it was. It was when the ball was in the air. They called the guy was already blocking.
There you go.
Downfield.
So I mean,
but it wasn't.
The crazy thing about Darren McFadden is in Oakland, if you just eyeballs and looking at actual metrics, he was one of the worst running backs in the league. In the league. And it wasn't just Oakland, because Latavius Murray and other guys had some success while DMC was over there. This looked very different for Darren McFadden.
So let's talk fantasy strategy with Darren McFadden right now. He's probably unowned in some leagues. He's owned in most.
Yeah.
But the problem is people put Joey Randall into their lineup this week. People might have put Christian Michael in their lineup. However, what do you do with McFadden? If you roll him out there, are you risking 2.9 points?
I don't think you are, because I believe from that performance, I really believe that they have to move Darren McFadden into the starting role. However, their next two matchups, this coming week is against Seattle. I'm not playing any Cowboy not knowing exactly who's going to have it against Seattle. So if you've got Darren McFadden and you can get value from him, let's say there's the Joseph Randall owner and they want to just kind of hedge their bets, I would trade him. I doubt you can get value, so you can't drop him. You kind of have to hold on to him, and I don't think you can play him against.
It's all about the injury for me, and with to start the game, Joseph Randall had a couple good runs. They were to the outside, but he was gaining yards.
But has Joseph Randall ran well in the fourth quarter of just about any game this year?
No,
because Darren McFadden
but you still have
in the fourth quarter was running fantastic and doing what Dallas has been wanting and looking for all year.
Hasn't ran this well. I think a lot of it has to do with the Giants' rushing defense.
And regardless, I mean, if Randall's healthy, they're not giving the ball to McFadden every play of the game. I mean, McFadden either won't last or it just doesn't make any sense with what they're doing. So I think he's going to be a little hit and miss, but he's the guy to own right now, right?
Yes. Oh yeah, you have to pick him up just in case Randall's out. But it's very similar to the Philadelphia situation where Ryan Matthews clearly outperformed Murray, but moving forward, Murray will still be the starting running
without
back.
question. And he should have been Matthews had a really big game on, was it 6 or 9 carries? I think it was 6 carries for 97 and a touchdown.
Man, and he looked fast.
Well, that cutback on the 63-yard touchdown was impressive.
And I was telling you guys, it's sad to me, as I've been a big Ryan Matthews fan. I know he gets hurt all the time, blah, blah, blah. But just watching, when he's healthy, he is great. He is a very talented running back, and it's sad to me that he has to be a backup.
Yeah, you said right to us at kickoff before the game, like it's a travesty that he's the number 2 there, and then you watch the game and you're just so frustrated, going, why is he the number 2 there?
Well, I don't have that perspective.
I do.
Because that perspective somehow denigrates DeMarco Murray. And I don't think DeMarco Murray's a bad runner. I think he's a great runner. And I think when Ryan Matthews has to take higher carry numbers, I mean, you don't know how that turns out. This is the classic situation where you get limited work, the defense doesn't, they don't prepare for you, and you make big plays, and then you give, I just don't think it's so black and white at all.
To me, it's the difference between Matthews and Murray. I still like Murray. I think he's good. But Murray whenever they run him to the side and his lateral movement, he looks very slow compared to Ryan Matthews. And they try and do that a lot. And I was thinking, watching it, I wonder what the success percentage of when they try and run Murray to the outside is. And they had a couple of them this past week, but it seems like it fails more often.
Losing Peters last night obviously didn't help.
Yeah,
so
that sucked.
Mark Ingram had a very impressive game, 14 for 143 and a touchdown.
He got snaked twice.
He did?
By Robinson. Kyrie Robinson.
Oh, that's right.
2
that's right.
touchdowns.
Yeah.
One of the times kind of made sense because it was after a long run. The other one was like, what's going on? Why is
one
Ingram
wasn't
not
a
in the
goal
game?
line carry, though. One was like a 10-yard carry from Robinson.
Red zone.
So,
Sorry, red zone
He
carry.
didn't get – it wasn't a goal line steal. Another guy that fits in this category. Oh, the garbage man. If you were a Danny Woodhead owner, you were scared for your life. And then the fourth quarter came around, and it was just the Danny Woodhead show. That was his first passing touchdown since 2013.
Yeah, he was hurt all last year.
I know. It's been a while, though.
But yeah, I agree.
All right, we need to talk tight ends before we get into the pooped in his big boy pants section. Jordan Reed, 11 for 72, 2 touchdowns, right back in the thick of things. Is he I think he's just a start, right?
That's what we say. Was if Jordan Reed is healthy, you play him. It's
Fair enough.
automatic.
How about Gary Barnidge?
Wow.
Gary Barnidge, man.
Against the
Maximum.
Rams. I was so impressed.
Maximum
Yeah, he
Barnidge.
just kind of seems to have a baseline of catches now.
But
Rob
if-
Gronkowski, in case
if-
you haven't heard of him, he had a big game.
If McCown is out, then there could be some questions on Gary Barnidge.
Agreed.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, because it's who is Manziel going to target?
Well, he's targeted Barnidge in the past.
Manziel?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I haven't done the
I
research.
mean,
on
not
that.
at the same level that McCown has, but Barnidge had what did he have here? Which games did McCown play?
2. I think he played the second.
Manziel played the game 2.
Okay, so game 2, Barnidge only had 1 catch. Game 3, he was 6 for 105 and a touchdown.
That was
that was-
McCown.
I thought you said game 2 and 3 was Manziel.
No.
Oh,
No,
it was only
one-
one game with Manziel?
Half of the first game and week 2 was
All right, so his
Manziel.
worst games of the year. So you're right. We'll have to monitor that pretty closely. Ladarius Green, 4 for 45 and a touchdown. He was a great guy to grab, handcuff to Antonio Gates because he's had a good year. We talked about him on the show last week as kind of, oh, man, like he's still playing well. He had a 2-point conversion. And then Eric Ebron is back.
Big game.
Yeah.
And a big game, 5 for 89 and a touchdown. He was somebody who I didn't mind starting before the injury. So
He seems like the number 2 target to me for the Lions if he's healthy in there.
Well, and they don't have time to throw to Calvin Johnson.
I know I'll be brief, but I'd be remiss to not mention the fact that, Joique Bell had 7 a carry.
And 7 a reception. He
Yeah.
only worked in 7s.
3 for 21, proving his clear dominance now that he's healthy.
Yep.
All right,
Yep. Did
let's
he
move
get-
it on.
The question is, did he reach 50 yards? And I will even allow you to add in receiving yards.
Oh, wait, we made that bet.
Yeah.
I knew I was getting wet on that bet. That would have been a great thing to have realized just now that I had won, though. So let's move it on.
Pooped in his big boy pants.
I mean, it was just such an ill-advised, quick yes to your water bet.
It was the chicken bet.
Yeah,
sure.
it was the Marty McFly chicken bet. All right, Eli Manning had I will say
That
this.
sucked,
Eli
man.
was 13 for 170, no touchdowns, horrible game. However, DMC, Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie, pick 6, Dwayne Harris, 100-yard return, didn't need the offense. Sometimes that happens with these guys. 2, defensive special teams touchdowns limit your opportunities and your needs. They still won the game. So,
And that Rodgers-Cromartie interception,
which one?
the where he was celebrating for 50 yards,
Oh.
was fantastic.
If you had LeGarrette Blount, you had a 0, a gooser. If not, somehow worse.
Hopefully
Yeah.
you got back to 0.
No, you might have had a negative -0.3.
Melvin Gordon's on this list. Melvin Gordon, I don't think he had big boy pants to put on this week, so I don't really categorize him in this section.
Yeah,
think
I actually think I was impressed that he got 7 for 29 when he should be sitting and out.
Yeah, but Carlos Hyde did have another bad game, and this is just a product of, I think he's running hard. I watched this game to look specifically at Hyde to say, well, is something wrong? I think he's a little banged up.
Well, they say he's a stress fracture.
Yeah, he's banged up, and the offense is doing nothing to provide for him. So, if you didn't cash in on him earlier, you're probably not going to get the kind of value you'd want for him now. So,
Oh no. That we got to be careful about week 1.
And then wide receivers, the tandem of Eli and ODB obviously was a problem. He only had 4 for 35 in a game where, like I said, the offense just didn't have to do that much.
I had a thought. Odell Jordan Matthews needs to talk to Odell Beckham and figure out what kind of gloves that Beckham wears, because he needs to get a set of those gloves.
He should be in this too. Jordan Matthews is playing
Jordan
very
Matthews
bad.
Absolutely pooped in his pants. Whatever size pants he has, he pooped them.
And it's not like he's not getting an opportunity. He is dropping his opportunity.
2 more drops.
Literally.
Well, and Sam Bradford, he had a lot. I mean, he didn't look good again. I mean, he looked really bad. In fact, during part of this game, I was driving, and I saw that Sanchez I just assumed they replaced him when I saw Sanchez had a throw. And, they hadn't, but he just doesn't look good. And his receivers, he doesn't have the receiving core he needs. I really don't think so. Huff had an end zone drop. I mean,
everyone was dropping
nobody's
passes.
making a play. You're catching the routine pass in Philadelphia, but you're not making a play. I mean, Ertz is doing everything he can to get targeted 4,000 times in the end zone. He cannot come down with a touchdown.
Well, first of all,
Norman.
you don't go after Josh Norman in the end zone.
I agree with that.
And speaking of drops, just a very quick note. on Brandon LaFell. I actually feel positive still about Brandon LaFell.
I would too.
Because he's getting the targets. He got replaced by Dobson, but clearly the Patriots don't think Dobson is the answer. So I still have confidence in LaFell.
He wasn't the only one dropping it. Edelman dropped a wide open touchdown. Did you see that?
Edelman has 9 fingers right now.
Yeah.
But so just moving forward, I still have confidence in LaFell.
All right, Golden Tate had a bad game, only 2 for 14. Vincent Jackson due to the injury, plus he wasn't targeted a lot earlier in the game. This was a Mike Evans explosion. So Vincent Jackson only had 1 for 13. And Jason's chuckling.
Sorry, there is a great Vine out there about Brandon LaFell. Go search.
Is it the garbage can?
Yes, it's the Brandon LaFell highlight package. Is what it's called.
Someone took a garbage can and then it puts a jersey just like over. And
then they threw the football at it, and it just bounces off over and over. It's really whoever did that.
It's very funny.
Good for you.
Oh, first off, why do they have a Brandon LaFell jersey?
Hey, I mean, he was – what you guys gave me the speech about Brandon LaFell.
Yeah, I thought it was very curious.
All right. Well, so Sam Bradford had a bad game as well. I don't know if you're leaning on him right now, but this was my almost upset pick of the week. It really – the game was close.
It was exactly what you called. It was an almost
close.
upset.
They had the ball down 8. Miles Austin had a brutal drop. And the game ended. So it is what it is. I'm done. One of my other confessions. Here, give me a
confessions.
I'm done predicting the Philadelphia Eagles offense gets it together. I'm done. It's over.
I can agree.
It's
with
over.
that.
Julius Thomas had a horrible game at the tight end position. 1 for 4.
That wasn't. I wouldn't get too scared on Julius Thomas because if you remember that game and the game flow, it was ridiculous. Jacksonville scores 2 defensive touchdowns, and then pretty much the passing game was done for 3.5 more quarters.
Did you want to have a confession about Allen Hurns?
No, absolutely not. And I will debate you on Allen Hurns through the roof. Before that last touchdown, which, by the way, had the game bounced any other direction, they don't have to throw there.
You mean the one that was a really impressive catch in the end zone?
I'm saying the one that gave him like 2 catches. I mean, he had 1 for 23. Everything in that game went that way. That's fantasy football. I don't think Allen Hurns is – I mean, he's fine. I'm not saying he's not good. But, I mean, on a week-to-week basis, I'm going, okay, do I start Marvin Jones or Allen Hurns?
On a week-to-week basis, if you had started Allen Hurns the previous 6 weeks, you would have been very happy.
I agree.
But Allen Robinson.
But, that same argument worked with Allen Hurns for about 4 weeks last year, too. We would have had the same conversation. And he might do the same thing Moncrief's doing and prove me wrong. I'm just thinking when – I want the target numbers. Allen Robinson's getting the target numbers. Allen Robinson's getting the production.
Allen Robinson
There's no argument of Robinson over Hurns.
Okay.
Allen Robinson is a emerging elite.
That's a guy
talent.
we need to get on the show because he was such a early favorite of both of really everybody here.
All right, let's go ahead and get in the mailbag.
Mailbag.
All right. It's mailbag time. If you have a question for the show, you can go to the website, thefantasyfootballers.com. Click on the Submit a Question button or call us at 302-464-TFFB. Leave us a voicemail question. You can check out everything on the website. We've got our rankings. Our weekly rankings are up there. Our weekly rankings are up there weekly. We update them every week.
I will say this. I don't know if you guys can hear it right now, but my voice is already kind of trashed from Saturday night. I was watching my boy, the Jawaiian, Kamawela Kirk. You haven't heard of him yet, but he's a fighter. He's my kid's jits coach, and he's coming. I'm telling you that this kid is coming. So my voice is already trashed from that. But
from
tonight,
screaming?
screaming. And after the Monday Night Football tonight, I cannot guarantee. I'm sorry, Foot Clan. I cannot guarantee that Mailbag will be sung tomorrow.
Okay.
There's a great possibility it will be whispered.
Well, that is that's really scary. I don't know how we're going to survive. All right, I've got a question from Chip. He wrote in. He's in a family league, guys, and I want to talk about family leagues for a second. He is in a league. His wife and her parents are in this league. It's a family league. I know you guys play in some of those. He cannot find a way to convince them to trade with him because they're afraid that he is basically taking advantage of them all the time. And so basically every offer he makes, somebody else talks them out of it. So how do you approach basically family leagues in these situations?
I got your answer. Normally when people are afraid to make trades because they feel like they're getting taken advantage of, it's because they don't know enough, right? In family leagues, they feel like they don't know what's going on. They're not confident. So here's what you do. You take their phone and you pull out their podcast app and you download the Fantasy Footballers on it and you say, hey, listen, okay, because it's still going to take them a while to bridge the gap to you. Those are the people that are in your league that you can say, here, it's fun. You'll enjoy the show and you'll learn a lot. And then you'll make a trade. Because in this question, he's got like a great trade offer that seems really good for them, really good for you, but you can't make a trade. We deal with that sometimes as being, quote unquote, fantasy football experts where people are afraid to trade with us.
This is a bit of a longer email, but at the end, he's talking about one of the trades that got rejected. He offered Allen Robinson and David Carr for Eli Manning, and the trade was rejected by the wife because the wife consulted her brother, and they both decided that was not a good trade.
They need the fantasy football.
Yeah, that's a problem. All right, Jake in St. Paul, who do you trust more rest of the season, Brandon Cooks or Brandon LaFell?
LaFell.
Yeah. Agreed.
This is somebody from Norway.
Oh, bonjour.
I have no clue.
Hakon.
That sounded great.
Hakon.
Quick question. Being offered Lacey for John Brown. Should he do the trade?
If you got wide receiver depth, let's see. So John Brown is his clear wide receiver 2 in front of Diggs, Marvin Jones. You can probably get away with Diggs and Marvin Jones as your 2.
Oof. I don't know if I'd want to.
I'm just saying you can get away with it, but
he already has Gurley, Murray, Matt Jones. No, I don't do the deal.
Really?
I do the deal. I think that Latavius Murray is an okay 2. I actually think he's a good 2. But Matt Jones as your flex, I mean, I would rather have Eddie Lacy as my flex.
Why is Matt Jones his flex?
Well, I'm just saying, those are his 2. If he wants to roll a running back in the flex, I mean, are you going to roll C.J. Anderson?
No.
My rule of thumb is
Cooks?
I always want to have 3 startable running backs at least on my roster at all times. And while Lacy, sure, he's not startable right now, but if he could become an RB1 for the rest of the season, we don't know. So I would take the deal because I'm more confident being able to find a wide receiver.
Jorgen in Williamsburg. Who scores more points tonight in a PPR league? Justin Forsett or Steve Smith?
Justin
Senior?
Forsett. Justin Forsett, in my opinion, I think it'll be easy. Cardinals have struggled a little bit from time to time on the screen game, but Adrian Peterson has looked great against number 1 wide receivers, so I'm going to go.
Adrian Peterson?
What in the world did you just say?
Patrick Peterson has looked great against number 1 wide receivers.
We're back to the Adrian Peterson to Arizona rumors.
Oh, man.
All right, Cy in Philadelphia. Hey, guys, love the show. Never miss a week. You might be getting this question a lot this week, but Foster went down on my team, and I have 3rd waiver priority in what will be a very busy week. Would you rather put Alfred Blue as priority 1 or Darren McFadden?
Darren McFadden.
Oh, woof.
It's not close to me, but I'm more of a Darren McFadden believer right now.
Man, what do you think, Andy?
Yeah, I'd probably be on the McFadden side of things.
And he says also, is it worth wasting a waiver pickup on David Cobb? You do not waste a waiver priority. Let the waivers run, see if he's still there. But
he does have an opportunity because he's practicing now. And
Bishop Sankey got 2 snaps.
Yeah.
Dexter McCluster is kind of the guy.
Well,
as far as snaps, Antonio Andrews did get some carries, but I believe he only played about 17 snaps. McCluster in a PPR is kind of a sneaky guy right now. So
Antonio Andrews was great.
You know what the Titans
10 for 57, 5.5 a carry. Had a good on-the-ground game, so I still think I'd rather have Antonio Andrews all day long than McCluster.
The Titans really need that 4th running back in the mix there. It's going to help them. It's like New York. There was not enough clarity with 3 running backs.
Darkwa?
So they bring in a 4th
He
running
looked
back.
good, dude.
What a garbage
And there was
situation.
talk about him earlier in the we'll talk about him more this week, but that is it for today's show. Thanks for listening to the Fantasy Footballers podcast. Again, you can find us on Twitter at the FF Ballers. If you want to follow Mike, you can do so at FF Hitman. You can follow Jason at JasonFFL. You can follow me at Andy Holloway. And we will be back tomorrow morning with a fresh report from the Monday Night Football game that we will be attending. Thanks to SeatGeek.
Hey, Arizona people, hit it seriously. Hit me up on Twitter. I'll be at the game. I think we're going to be wearing our shirts because we are shameless self-promoters.
Are we?
Yes.
I guess we did just get new shirts.
Yeah.
So
you got to wear the shirt. So hit us up on Twitter if you want to come say hi and whatever, grab a photo because I don't know, that might be fun.
Yeah.
That might be a fun thing to do.
I still insist they buy us food, but whatever. But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. We'll have a good show. We'll get into some waivers, which is also always fun. I will hopefully be over. Well, I'm never going to get over the Arian Foster thing. I'm just lying to myself if I say I am. It's never going to happen. So I know I was going to hit it if I could. But thanks for listening. We appreciate it. Check out jointhefoot.com. Come talk to us on there. Take care.
We're going to let the music run a little bit. Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to another edition of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Don't forget to visit us on the web at www.thefantasyfootballers.com and follow us on Twitter @TheFFBallers.